This learning video is about exploring the convergent plate boundaries. The objective is explain the different processes that occur along the convergent plate boundaries. Are you familiar with the following geological features? Have you ever wondered how they are formed? Andes Mountains, Taal Volcano, Himalayas, and Mount Pinatubo. What do they have in common? All of them are found near convergent plate boundaries. They are formed by the collision of two plates. As we have learned in our past lesson, convergent plates are plates that move towards each other and cross destruction takes place. In this video, we are going to explore the three types of convergent boundaries. The oceanic continental convergent plate boundary, the oceanic convergent plate boundary, and the continental convergent plate boundary. Please take note of the geological features and events associated with each type of convergent plate boundary. Let us have them one by one. The first one is an oceanic continental plate boundary. This is where an oceanic lithospheric plate collides with a continental lithospheric plate. Look at the diagram below. Which one do you think is the lithospheric plate that has a continental crust, and which one has an oceanic crust? This crust on the right is a continental crust, and this one on the left is an oceanic crust. The continental crust is thicker and less dense, while the oceanic crust is thinner but denser. Since the oceanic crust is dense, it will undergo a process called subduction. Subduction is an event in which a slab of rock thrusts into the mantle. You'll also notice that a trench is formed in the subduction zone. A trench is a depression in the seafloor produced by subduction process. As the slab of rock subducts towards the mantle, it melts. Why? This is because of the high temperature in the mantle. Imagine a chocolate bar. What will happen to it if you place it in a very hot pan? Definitely it will melt. A molten rock is called magma. Since magma is less dense, it rises and pushes the crust, and a volcanic arc is formed. A volcanic arc is a chain of volcanoes found on a continental plate parallel to a trench. Moreover, a deep focus earthquake also takes place. An example of a volcanic arc formed at convergent plate boundary is the Andes mountain range. Nazca plate carries an oceanic crust, while the South American plate carries a continental crust. Since Nazca is denser, it will be subducted towards the mantle of the South American plate where the Andes mountain range is formed. But don't be misled. This mountain range is not just a mountain. They are actually a volcanic arc. They are volcanoes. The Peru-Chile Trench was also formed along the subduction zone. Look at the map. Where is Nazca and where is South American plate? Kindly take a look. You can see here. Here is your Nazca plate. It is an oceanic plate. And we have here the South American plate, a continental plate that is converging with an oceanic plate. And look at the arrows between them. They are pointing towards each other. So this is a convergent plate boundary. Let's recall. What are the geological events and geological features associated with oceanic continental convergent boundaries? The geological events associated with it are subduction, magma formation, and earthquake, whereas the geological features are volcanic arc and wrench. Next, we have oceanic convergent plate boundary. So we have here a young oceanic crust and an old oceanic crust. Do you think we'll have subduction here? Both are oceanic crusts. Which one will be subducted? Let us see. Is the younger crust or older crust? Okay, it's the older crust. Why? Because the older crust is denser than the younger crust. Since the older crust is denser, it will undergo subduction. And as it undergoes subduction, we know that a trench will also form in the subduction zone. And the slab of rock will be melted and magma will be formed. And this magma will be pushed out and will push the crust and will form volcanoes. If you have noticed, the geological features and events associated with oceanic convergent plate boundary is similar with those associated with oceanic continental convergent plate boundary, except that instead of a volcanic arc, a volcanic island arc is formed. A volcanic island arc is a chain of volcanoes that develop parallel to a trench. Another geological event associated with an oceanic convergent plate boundary is a tsunami. What is a tsunami? It is a series of ocean waves with very long wavelengths caused by a large-scale disturbance of the ocean. Let us see how a tsunami is generated. If the edge of a plate flicks upward, it will cause a large amount of water to be displaced. Tsunami is then formed at the surface of the ocean. Let's take a look. As the plate subducts, the other plate flicks up, and that causes the water to be displaced. This is tsunami. An example of a product of the convergence of two oceanic lithospheric plates is the Philippine archipelago. What are the two plates involved here? Yes, it's Eurasian plate and the Philippine plate. The Philippine Arc is one of the volcanic island arcs of the Pacific. The volcanic island arcs of the Pacific makes up the Ring of Fire or also called the Circum-Pacific Belt. It is a major area in the basin of the Pacific Ocean where many earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur. It has 452 volcanoes. More than 75% of the world's active and dormant volcanoes are found here. Some of the active volcanoes found in the mentioned volcanic chain or volcanic island arc are Mount Pinatubo and Taal volcano. Let us try to locate the plates that gave rise to the volcanic island arc of the Philippines. So we have here the Philippine plate and the Eurasian plate. Notice that the type of plates converging here is an oceanic plate. These are examples of oceanic convergent boundary as mentioned a while ago. Mount Pinatubo is part of the volcanic arc of the Philippines. It is formed by collision of Eurasian plate and Philippine plate. Another example is the Caribbean island. What plates are involved here? It is formed by the collision of Caribbean plate and North American plate. And lastly, we have the Aleutian Islands. What are the plates involved here? It is formed by collision of North American plate and Pacific plate. Let's recall. What are the geological events and geological features associated with oceanic convergent boundaries? These are subduction, magma formation, earthquake, or tsunami. And we also have volcanic island arc and trench. So, as we said a while ago, they have almost the same features as that of the oceanic continental convergent boundary, except that we have tsunami here and we have volcanic island arc. The last type of convergent plate boundary is the continental convergent plate boundary. Do you think subduction takes place in this type of plate boundary? So we have here continental convergence. Will volcanoes be formed in this plate boundary? Let us see. Try to observe the animation below. Okay, no subduction is taking place, and therefore no volcanoes will be formed. Why? Because there will be no magma formation, and instead mountain range is formed. Would there be earthquake epicenters in the places where such plates converge? Definitely yes, because earthquake is always associated with plate movements. Whenever plates move, there will be an earthquake. An example of geological feature brought about by the collision of two continental plates along a convergent plate boundary is the Himalayas mountain range. Mount Everest is the highest mountain in the world, and it is a peak in the Himalaya mountain range. The Himalaya is formed 40 to 50 years ago by the collision of Indian plate and Eurasian plate. Let us see in the map. Where is it? Here. We can see that the Indian plate and the Eurasian plate are both continental plate, and they are converging, or they are moving towards each other. Let's recall. What are the geological events and geological features associated with continental convergent boundaries? The geological events are no subduction, of course, no magma formation, so the only geological event that is taking place here is an earthquake. And mountain ranges are produced. There will be no volcanoes. Now, we are done discussing the three types of convergent plate boundaries. Let us now try to check your understanding. Fill the missing information. The first one is done for you. We're going to identify the type of geological feature, the type of boundary, and the name of plates involved. So for Aleutian Islands, we have a volcanic island arc, and it's an oceanic type of boundary, and The, the plates involved are Pacific and North American plates. What about Peru Chile Trench? Can you recall? Let's reveal the answer. What about the Himalayas? Can you recall? Alright, let's see if you're correct. Let's reveal the answer. Now let's have here's another set. Let's reveal the answer. What about the other one, the Philippine Arc? Here's the answer. And lastly, Caribbean island. Done? Alright, I hope you got them all correctly. The concepts and pictures included in this learning video were taken from the following references. Thanks for watching. Please also watch our learning video about divergent plate boundaries.